I have doubt about faith. And I know there are people out there who are downright atheists. They do not believe that there's a God. You can answer this, atheists. If God came to you, you wouldn't be atheists anymore, would you? You got out of bed, and there was this being there. And you said, who are you? And the being said, I'm God. And you said, well, give me a miracle. And then God says, what kind of miracle would you like? He says, I'd like the heavens to fill with rain and clouds and a thunder and lightning right now. Boom, it happens. You want another miracle? You tell me the miracle and I'll do it. So God proves to you that God is God. And all of a sudden you're there, faced with God. You're not an atheist anymore, are you? You couldn't be. I wouldn't be. At that point, I would be a true believer. And whatever God asked me to do, God forbid it wouldn't be anything horrible. You know, some people think that God speaks to them like crazy people. I'd have to assume that either I completely lost my mind and I needed to check into a mental institution, or that God had truly met with me. I had this meeting with God and God said, follow the Bible, follow the Quran, whichever it was, that God gave me direction, whatever the direction was, I'd be inclined to follow it and take my family with me on this journey. Now, here I am. God just spoke to me. If I'm an atheist, I'm not an atheist anymore. I believe in God because I'm a true believer. How would I behave? If someone's breaking into my car, would I run out there and try to beat them to death? Or would I say, excuse me, if you really need my car, you can take it. But I'd rather tell you about God. Come here, let me tell you about God. Would I be enraged when I saw people sinning? Or would I go to them and would I say, excuse me, I got to tell you an amazing thing about God. I got to tell you some incredible news. I couldn't be angry at anybody because I would know what their fate would be and I would want to help them. I wouldn't be threatening people. I wouldn't be going crazy because I would have that warm, deep comfort of 100% knowledge that God existed and I was going to heaven. I would have 100% knowledge. If I really had 100% knowledge, I would never, ever have to get upset at anybody. Any bad thing that happened to me or anybody else, I know it would all get worked out in the end and justice would prevail. So if you don't behave that way, do you have doubts? You must be somewhere less than 100%. Are you a 100% true believer? If you are a 100% true believer in God, how do you behave? Because, you know, I have met some people like that. I know an imam that if you were stealing his car, he'd walk out and say, excuse me, do you really need to steal my car? If you need it, you can have it. I know a guy like that. I know Jesus was that way. I would be that way. I try to be that way, but I would really be that way. If God spoke to me, if I knew, if it was a guarantee, I would preach the word to everyone. And it sure would be hard to upset me. If someone stole from me or did anything bad, how could I get upset? They were taking items from me that have no value in heaven. Money is worthless. Power is worthless down here. Is there anybody out here, if God came to you and spoke to you, that you'd still defy God? I mean, I think most atheists I've met are pretty logical people. If God spoke to them, they would immediately be converts. Is that right? Let me know. If someone came up and killed my wife or my children before my very eyes, I'd say, I'll see you in heaven shortly. I'll be right there. I'll be right behind you because we know we're still together. And we're going to be in paradise together. It would make fighting down here irrelevant. All I would want to do is share the Word of God and share peace. And if I saw somebody out there breaking what I thought were God's rules, I wouldn't go crazy and be outraged and be jealous and be upset at what they were doing. There'd be no reason to be. Because I was the winner. Because I was on the right path and I knew it for sure. And they just needed some education. Let me know what you think.